Where is justice?
Well, we've just had 1 week of 24/7 online praying, so that people all around the world have had an opportunity to sign up and join in prayer. And this has really been a wonderful experience. But what is God saying to us now? Where do we go from here? What would be our next step?
All the cries of the oppressed rise up to you.
I cry for justice. I cry for justice for the vulnerable, that their needs should be met and they should be restored.
I cry for justice, and I cry against domestic violence associated with alcohol consumption, mental issues, ritual and religious prejudice against women.
When we cry out for justice, we cry in agreement with the Lord's Prayer, Kingdom of God come, will of God be done on earth as it is in heaven. And anywhere on earth we see His will not being done, we cry out for justice, for God to intervene on planet Earth in our generation in response to the prayers of God's people.
Faith moves the mountains, praise persistently, hearts with heavy burdens that
I sense that the Lord is saying to us to simply be still and know that I am God. Now, if we look in Psalm 46 and verse 10, we find this tremendous verse that says simply that, to be still and know that I am God. You know, when sitting with a best friend or a spouse, we often don't have to say anything. We can just sit in silence, enjoy each other's company and simply be ourselves. We don't have to prove anything, we don't have to pretend, but we just be ourselves. And that's really what God is wanting us to do when He says to be still. Just be ourselves. Just don't pretend. Just be in His presence.
The highlight for me for the prayer room was the quietness in the early morning when there was no noise around, no traffic or anything like that. And in the stillness of God's voice just coming to me and being able to read His Word and listen to music was really a highlight for me during the 24/7.
So what is God saying to us? And where are we going now? You know, J.B. Phillips wrote many years ago, there is often too much strenuous, even hysterical effort and not enough quiet trust in the Christ within us. So perhaps God is saying, quietly trust, quietly listen. So could I suggest in this next week ahead that you take this verse from Psalm 46 verse 10 and say it in a different kind of way. Just take a word at a time. The first word, be. And then be still. Be still and know. And so on. Go right through the verse in that way. And then just quietly listen. Be still before God. And I have a feeling that this will bring you the way ahead and also a deep, deep sense of peace.
And the engine, the heart in all this is captured in Jesus' words. My house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations. Continuous prayer in the house of prayer.